Welcome to Black Girl Say Something, where this black girl has something to say. And it is now officially 3 days till my 37th birthday. And in the spirit of my birthday, I am sending myself peace. I am having more grace with myself. And to be quite honest with you, it was a bummer that I didn't get to go see Usher, because I know that would have been like an amazing experience. But it had to get delayed. Of course, I live in South Florida. It is hurricane season and it's been delayed till like December. But in any event, it is what it was. And just like anything else in life, you just go with the flow. I think when we are too planned and too structured, coming from me, I love a plan. I love a structure. I love an itinerary. I was like, you know what? It is now officially my birthday weekend, and guess what I'll be doing? Continuing education to renew one of my professional licenses. So that's going to eat up my Saturday and Sunday. And of course, my birthday is on a Monday. I am planning to do a small get together the weekend after. As a last minute plan, I was like, what can I plan to do just so that I can celebrate with those that have always celebrated me? So I put together a small get together. But you could also look forward. I think what I'm going to do over on YouTube, because, we post an episode every last Friday of the month. We've been kind of doing that since the beginning of the year. I've posted some extra episodes throughout the month to kind of get into the spirit of Vlogtober, as I was told that's what I was doing. I didn't even know that's what I was doing. But it's called Vlogtober over on YouTube. So go ahead and check us out. The link will be in the description of this episode. But enough of that. I'm going to get into the topic at hand. I'm a mom. I'm a mom who is mothering from no place of reference. So I'm always wondering, how am I handling things? How am I doing it? What can I do better? And coincidentally, I was talking to a friend and we were in a very good conversation just about how I am as a parent and who I've become since being in the middle of a divorce. And the reality of the situation is I'm my children's primary parent. Yes, they know who their dad is. Yes, I was married. And while I've taken all of the necessary precautions to do what I thought was the right thing to do when it comes to creating a family, it didn't quite work out, and that's okay. And I don't make excuses for him. I don't go out of my way to have discussions about him with the children. And to be quite honest with you, we're so focused on creating a safe space. I'm so focused on creating a safe space and creating good core memories, not to in an event that they will never remember the bad memories, right? Because that's why they're in therapy. You want to talk through those feelings because, again, you go through some things in childhood and you could be like me, 37 years old, and don't even remember that thing until you start talking about it. Why do I feel depressed? Why do I feel so anxious? Aside from the things that happen to us as adults, the things that happen to us as children do affect us as adults. And so I'm proud and fortunate to know that my children have the opportunity to kind of hash those things out so early. But in that conversation with that friend, they said, I want to send you something. They said they're going to post it on Instagram, and they read it to me. And I was like, I'm going to talk about this on the podcast. And it's a little blurb, and it says, someday your kids are going to figure you out. I promise you they will. The type of parent you are, the type of spouse you are, how you treat other people, how much effort you put into them. You're either going to be someone they look up to or someone they never want to be like. Always remember, they are watching and absorbing. And the way that sat in my spirit, the way that sat heavy on my mind, the way that I processed that was just keep doing what you're doing for me, right? Keep doing what you are doing. Your children see what you're doing. They see that you're putting yourself first. They see that you love on you, and the love that you have for yourself, you can now love on them in the way that they need to be loved. They see that you are holding them to a standard because you hold yourself to a standard. They see that you have created boundaries, and so they respect your boundaries, and now they anticipate that you will respect their boundaries, and they expect other people to respect their boundaries. They see that you are a Black girl with something to say, and you are going to make sure that what you say is with purpose and effective and structured, and that you are trustworthy, and that they trust you because you trust yourself in the decisions that you make, and that you're at peace with the decisions that you've had to make. And so I'll give you a quick little backstory, so to speak, as to why I am so proud of myself as a parent. And while I would love to discuss the most recent court date that I have, I choose not to on the public platforms, public forums. Eventually, once everything is said and done, there is even more that this Black girl has to say. But I choose to not do so right now because, again, when the time comes and I'm in this place where I can discuss it even more freely, I will just say this. There's a conversation happening on many social media platforms. I don't know the crux of the details, but part of what I understood in my research, it's funny because I'll get back to that. It's funny because my time spent scrolling on TikTok is usually my time spent researching, because that is my nature. I always have to see, what is this that I am consuming? Is this factual content? If it is, then I look further into it. If it's not, and it's like parody, then it is what it is. I just take the laughs and go. But some content I just don't consume, like, certain trends I don't consume. That's ones that, delve into relationships where it looks abusive, or ones that delve into, pranks. Those aren't my type of content that I consume. I love a good voiceover, haha, make it funny, a little POV. I like that. But right now there is a talk about men wanting relief from child support. And it's like, if you want relief from child support, just don't create children. But there's a deeper conversation that I have had where I'm like, I am glad at the fact that I got married. I know I've often come across as I'm regretful of getting married, but I think if I didn't get married, I wouldn't have had two beautiful children. If I never got married, I had my daughter before we got married, but then I wouldn't have had my son possibly, right? Because I had this idea that I wasn't going to have any more children until I was married. And for that reason, the man asked me to marry him a couple of times. I said no, but then I said yes, and then we got married, and within we wasn't even married a year before I got pregnant and had my son. So with that being said, I don't believe that I would have had two beautiful children had I not gotten married, because once I was married, that was my hard boundary. And I didn't know it was a hard boundary then, but that was my hard boundary. I'm not having any more children. You're talking about having another child, and I'm talking about I don't want any more children until I'm married. Put a pin in that statement, because the pin for me is that if you're married, or when you get married and you have children under the sanctity of marriage, or you're married, you have a child and then decide to get married, whatever the case may be, that man has a sole responsibility, or the parents who are married and create children under the guise that they are married, there's a sole responsibility for both parents. Because again, if a woman, and I don't know if this is true for all states, but if a woman has a child with a man and she's not married and she just leaves that child, then it's called child abandonment. But if a man does it, then it's not. And I don't want to get too political or whatever the case may be over here, but this is my lived reality. My lived reality is that there's a certain level of accountability as somebody who is not getting any support, because right now there's still kinks being worked out. But there is a sole responsibility. The responsibility, just because there's none happening right now, doesn't mean it's not accumulating in the background. And so had we not been married, of course, and there was only just a restraining order in place and he would have left, there would have been a fight to prove that you are responsible for these children. But because we were married, There's no fight to prove that you're responsible for these children. The only thing that a judge is going to say is how many days can you get this child, how many weekends or whatever. But there is still going to be, you have a duty, not a right, more so a duty to be responsible and financially responsible for those children. So I'm always like, when women say they don't want any children until they're married, there's always a subset of women that would like to say, hey, we're all baby moms. But while that might be true, the rules are different for me as a baby mom divorced, a divorced baby mom. The rules are different. But I just wanted to throw that out there. Your children see, your children know, they know who you are, right? I look back on the fact that life never really changed other than the turmoil that was in the house, and the person who was causing the turmoil is no longer here, but my children still have the same roof over their head. They're still having the same amount of fun. They're still able to do their extracurriculars, all because mama was making it happen all along. So they know. And I'm at peace with that. I've made peace. I've grieved making the right decision. I've talked about that on past episodes generations ago, on this Black Girl Say Something platform, that you have to grieve making the right decision. And what comes with that is, it's like when you get a surgery, a major surgery, and I had a major surgery. I had a tummy tuck with a hernia repair. The pain, the anguish to get to healing was a little crucial. I mean, I handled it pretty well, but the pain is anguish, right? And then you get on the other side of it and you're like, oh, that was nothing. And I'm snatched. And now I can lift weights because the hernia was preventing me from lifting weights. And I removed the hernia and now I'm better. So your children see you. They love you. Keep talking to them. Keep telling them what to do. They're listening. I had such an amazing last weekend was such an amazing weekend because I got to spend time with my friend and her new baby. I know I shouted her out back in the July episode over on YouTube because she was born in July. I got to witness her birth. I got to witness the love that her partner has for her and how he was there, supporting her and loving on her. And now to see like the baby is here and how he supports her and he loves on her. And I got to hold the baby girl. I haven't held her since she was a newborn, and now she's about to be 3 months. And I'm like, girl, please stop growing so fast. But I remember what that's like, having a baby girl. And now my baby girl is a young woman and she's holding this baby. And I'm just like, oh, you're going to be old enough to watch her soon. So that was really cute to see. But we had like an amazing time. It was a spooky Halloween situation that she put together for her son as a sleepover. And me and my daughter got to sleep over. And we enjoyed like light snacks and things like that. And then we went bowling the next day and it was such a good time. And I really am just so happy to be a part of her life and have her be a part of my life and just see how the both of us have grown from such crazy situations. But it all goes back to say your children know and they see. And are you going to be the person that they look up to or the person they never want to be like? With that being said, thank you for tuning in to Black Girl Say Something. If something was said that encouraged you, share this with at least one person. Remember, you can tune into Black Girl Say Something every Friday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And don't forget to click some links in the description of this episode. I've put together our past October episodes over on YouTube. We have an episode dropping October 25th on YouTube, as well as I've put together an Amazon birthday list, so you can check that out. That'll be in the link of the description of this episode. And don't forget to become a subscriber because this Black girl has even more to say over on the subscriber side. Thank you for listening.